I don't like toilets, bathroom, bodily fluids, or nothing like that. Keep that very far away from me at all times, at all costs. No cap. If you don't, there might be a right haymaker coming up right now with the impact frame loading. And in between that impact frame, it's going to be me dapping you up like this. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I hate bathroom talk. Welcome back to the Stanley Live channel. Today is gonna be Beat, it's gonna be chat, and we are reacting to a video from the one, the only, the homie, Brewski, how Spy Kids became unrecognizable. I know that they made one, but I didn't watch the new Spy Kids. So this is actually gonna be my first time watching the new Spy Kids.
This franchise has become synonymous with the early 2000s. Clunky CGI, cartoonish humor, and unhinged.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, Spy Kids aged terribly. When I was a kid, bro, Spy Kids used to look crazy.
Cartoonish humor, and unhinged storylines. The movies never took themselves too seriously, but they perfectly captured the spirit of their era. When Spy Kids 3D wrapped up the trilogy in 2003, audiences felt it was the right place to end off, and that it was time to let the series rest. But Hollywood just isn't ready to let go. When Robert Rodriguez set out to make the first Spy Kids in the late 90s, he went in with a clear vision. Create a story that felt like it was straight out of a child's imagination, that would not only be enjoyable for younger audiences, but make—
Bro, I'm telling you, Spy Kids aged horribly, but in the peak, bro, Spy Kids was one of them ones, gang. Spy Kids and Shark Boy and Lava Girl were one of them ones. It felt like you were watching something that only you could have made in your mind, bro. It was fantastic.
Make them feel empowered. He had grown increasingly burnt out with his more violent, adult-oriented work, and felt that family movies were a neglected genre at the time. Rodriguez wanted to make a refreshing kids film that could entertain any age group without being condescending. The whole movie feels like a little kid's creative dream. I really wanted to make it like a child created this movie. The idea for the thumb thumbs in the movie were even based on a drawing he created when he was 11 years old. Robert was so passionate,
shout out my San Antonio dogs,
in his vision that he wore every hat while making Spy Kids. Director, writer, composer, production designer, he had his hands on each aspect of—
Imagine you putting in all that effort just for years later it looks like a PS2 game. That has to be tough. It has to be tough.
The film to ensure that it all came to life exactly how he pictured it. Studios were somewhat skeptical about having two Hispanic leads, worried that it might only appeal to that demographic.
Okay, I came up with an argument. This is good. You don't have to be British to enjoy James Bond. And they went, oh. So yeah, by making it that specific, it becomes universal.
But in the final product, his passion was reflected. Spy Kids released on March 30th, 2001, and it was an instant hit in nearly every way. Commercially, the movie managed to—
Yo, what happened to these little— Dead serious. What happened to bro? What happened to Shorty? I don't remember their names. If somebody says their names, I'll go and Google and look them up.
Gross $147 million on a budget of just $35 million, and it was generally praised by critics and families alike. While the visuals were a little shaky even for the time, they suited the childlike dream aesthetic Robert Rodriguez was going for. And despite its playful surface, the film took a surprisingly mature approach to its messaging. Critics appreciated that the characters were charming but realistically flawed, and that it delivered a heartfelt ending with themes centered around family, forgiveness, and growth. Respected critic Roger Ebert gave it a glowing review, awarding the film a 3 out of 4 stars.
Daryl Sabera. Okay, who is that? I feel like this is not who it's supposed to be. Please don't be meat. Okay, no, that's the kid. I did not, dang, I ain't gonna lie, his hair got dark, you know what I'm saying? His hair was like a whole different color. Oh, he has a little him now. Then he had a couple movies under his belt too. Does he have anything? What's his most recent one? Damn, he got movies under his belt. Oh my God. I think his last movie was in 2014. 2014 was his last movie. Oh, okay, he got some stain in the game. I ain't gonna lie. Drop me the Shorty.
Kids is brilliant. It's one of the most alive and wonderful and visually inventive and beautiful and exciting.
Alexa Pena Vegas. Okay, still don't trust y'all. Still very much sounds like a P-star name. Please turn out to be fine shit. She not chopped. What was her acting career? Let's see. Spy Kids 2011, from Prada, 2013's. Oh, 2016. Here we go. Christmas Made to Order. Okay. Dang, she was in a lot of movies too. 2016. Oh, no, 2020. Oh, shoot. They're getting added. Dang, that's crazy. Okay. W Alexa.
Movies I've seen in a long, long time.
Advice is
It's
just
not
do it,
too
gang.
scary for kids. It's certainly not ugly. In fact, it looks great.
It wasn't for everyone, but Spy Kids was without a doubt something special,
She's pretty
and
for sure.
sequels were only inevitable. Spy Kids
Yeah.
2, The Island of Lost Dreams, which
Spy Kids 2 was personally my favorite Spy Kids.
came out the very next year, was another success. In a lot of ways, it stayed true to what worked in the original, but also cranked everything up a notch. More visual effects, larger scale,
Yeah.
and more complex
Yeah.
themes.
Think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created?
Some thought the movie relied too much on CGI and green screens, but overall the reception was warm. Most people who saw it felt it was a strong
I
follow-up to
liked
the
it.
first
It was
Spy
great. I like 2 the best. First 2 for sure,
Kids, and wanted to see more. Rodriguez maintained his do-it-yourself production style, which allowed him to keep the budget cheap once again, and he would spend the same amount of money on the next entry 1 year later, which would be his most ambitious film.
I feel like Game Over was ambitious. I'm not mad at Game Over. I actually did like Game Over, but some of the parts were lost on me. Like, I didn't like how Carmen was non-existent for Game Over.
Yet. Spy Kids 3D was a major departure from the first 2 movies. Robert abandoned the emotional depth and mature storytelling in favor of a gimmick. He wanted the movie to be a full 3D experience, which meant writing scenes specifically to have objects fly out at the audience. The 3D concept was a fun idea, and not a lot of theatrical releases were doing it at the time, but in practice, it overshadowed the story and left the film feeling hollow. Most of the duration was spent in a video game world, so it was incredibly heavy on visual effects by
But this was cool when I was watching it, though. I'm not gonna lie.
comparison to 1 and 2.
Now I got
For some
taxes.
younger viewers, it was their favorite in the series, and they
Right.
simply enjoyed the colorful spectacle. But the general public was somewhat disappointed with its lack of substance and an over-reliance on ugly VFX. Still, whether or not people enjoyed the film, it filled out seats, making almost $200 million,
My goodness.
cementing it as the highest-grossing movie in the series. By the end, almost every previous Spy Kids character made an appearance, and it very much felt like a send-off for the franchise. The family came together in one final moment, and it seemed like the end. And for years, it was. Until it wasn't. 8 years later, the trailer for Spy Kids All the Time in the World would be released with a different cast, and this time Rodriguez had a new vision. He didn't just want to revive the
Yeah,
franchise,
this one right
he
here,
wanted to
I left this one alone. Like, bro, I'm telling you, bro, the whole thing about recasting is stop recasting. No, not stop recasting, sorry. The whole thing about remaking shows, reboots, there we go. The whole thing about reboots is stop. Can't do it. I didn't even give this one a shot. Maybe I'm wrong for it, but I was just like, yeah, this is not gonna stick for me.
reinvent the theater-going experience. And what's more
I watched it. It's not bad, but it didn't need to exist. I feel like that's grounds to say it's bad.
immersive than a 3D movie? A 4D movie. With the marketing for Spy Kids
can smell
4,
it?
they introduced a concept called Aromascope. It was a scratch and sniff card with 8 different numbered scents, and when the movie would play in theaters, numbers would flash on the screen, prompting audience members to scratch the corresponding number and smell it.
Whenever you see the flashing number on screen, simply scratch that number on your card.
That's
to
such
unleash
a bad gimmick.
symphony of sweet, tantalizing scents that will make you feel like you're right there in the movie.
Similar to Spy Kids 3, they wanted to bring interactive movie-going experiences back to cinemas, and the fourth dimension was bringing smell into the picture. These scents ranged from bacon to dirty diapers, and yet again, he would write this concept into the scenes. Some were skeptical about the Aromascope and thought it seemed gimmicky.
Just because kids might be like, oh great, I can smell poop on the screen, that doesn't mean it's a good idea. There's not going to be an Oscar for best use of Aromascope next season, and that should be your first clue that you shouldn't have
Facts.
even come up with the idea at all.
But when the movie
I'm all for it. Look, movies need people to push the boundaries, push the genre, try different things, and move things forward. However, though, you need people in your circle to be like, this one ain't it, gang. We're not going to hang our millions of dollar movie on smells, you know?
hit theaters on August
not
19th,
smelling diapers,
2011,
right.
the issues ran much deeper than a scratch and sniff. As audiences around the world watched the film, it became clear that it wasn't just the actors that had changed. For most, All the Time in the World just didn't feel like Spy Kids. It still had cartoonish characters and wonky visuals, but it lacked the charisma, clever jokes, and overall charm of the originals. Because of the aromascope gimmick, the movie was littered with toilet humor, having more fart jokes than all the other Spy Kids combined.
See? I'm not watching.
There
Bro,
were
I
still
have such a low threshold. I have such a low tolerance. I have, oh my gosh, the disdain in my body that I have for toilet jokes and all things similar. I hate toilet jokes. I hate toilet bars. I hate the toilet in general. I ain't gonna lie, bro. When I gotta go, I'm going outside, gang. I don't like toilets, bathroom, bodily fluids, or nothing like that. Keep that very far away from me at all times, at all costs. No cap. If you don't, there might be a right haymaker coming up right now with the impact frame loading. And in between that impact frame, it's gonna be me dapping you up like this. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I hate bathroom talk. I hate bathroom talk. I hate bathroom talk.
Some good messages present, but most of the heartwarming moments fell flat for general audiences. This use of aromascope lends nothing to the movie but a stench of desperation. It's a trick designed.
What about a bidet? Bench. Just get on. Just out. Bench. Get on the bench. Don't say anything. Sub. Bring someone else in.
Designed to liven up a series that's already running close to empty. Now he's back with a fourth, and sadly it's all fart jokes and smart aleck.
He got a point though. God damn it, you just made me use 2 times. Get everybody, can we get it together? What are we doing? Do y'all want to lose the game? Did you want to get on the bench? Get on the bench. You like him? You think he got a point? You get on the bench too. Freaking running a team, or am I running a circus, bro? Get in here. 4, get in. 4, get in. I got the back. Y'all made me get the backup players in. Y'all don't want to win. Oh my gosh, bro. Sit down. Bench.
Preteens, the stuff that can make taking kids to the pictures a chore. Originally, Rodriguez didn't want any of the original cast to return, but due to studio interference, he had to cram Carmen and Junie into the script.
Coach, I can win this. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I literally, off that alone. Off that alone. Let's get you back on the court, man. That was actually funny as fuck.
Who really didn't serve much of a purpose in the story. They tried to reboot the franchise without building on what made Spy Kids special, and it ultimately felt like a parody of itself.
My parents can't be spies. They're not cool enough. Our stepmother's a spy? Impossible. She's not cool enough.
The aromascope was a novel idea, and Robert Rodriguez still had creative control, but the film felt more like a cash grab than a true passion project. It had the worst box office performance, grossing $85 million, and nearly everyone agreed that it was the weakest entry yet. Spy Kids worked in the 2000s, but times had changed, and there just wasn't much of a demand for this kind of movie. Surely, the studio had learned their lesson.
I think it's really high demand on movie studios when you're doing part 4s to things, bro. I really think trilogies is where things need to stop. Like, if they never make another Rush Hour again, I'm happy. I'm okay with that. I'm not gonna lie. Not because I don't want another Rush Hour, but because to hit 4 times in a row is genuinely close to impossible, gang. Like, literally, Fast and Furious did it the best up until about Fast 5. You get what I'm saying? They were cooking with all of that. But even then, they just start dropping the ball. It's really a heavy ask to ask any movie to do, bro. Trilogies are a full circle, beginning, middle, end. Exactly. So when movie theaters are going to 4th and 5th and 6th, and it's like, bro, you're literally waiting until this fails. You're not even letting us end it as a good story. Harry Potter. You're looking at one of the GOATs. We can't make that the bar. We don't make the GOATs the bars. We have to be able to objectify that. The GOATs are the GOATs for a reason because they were able to do something that's not normal. You get what I'm saying? But as far as most movies go, they need to stop at trilogies. Most people will not make a GOATed show. Star Wars, you're literally talking about multi-billion-dollar companies right now multi-billion-dollar entertainment movies right now. These are the GOATs. They are not the standard. This is the standard. This is the GOATs. And that's what y'all naming.
Lesson. Flash forward to 2023, and Spy Kids was back once again. This time around as a Netflix exclusive reboot. Robert Rodriguez returned, but he didn't just direct the film. He co-wrote it with his son, Racer Max, and brought in his other kids as crew members. It was admirable to see him making a movie in a franchise all about family with his actual family, but because it was...
No, even with Kung Fu Panda, the first one was fire, the second one was tough, the third one was hard. They dropped that fourth one. Who talked about it? What's the name of the fox in the fourth Kung Fu Panda? Go ahead. What's the name of the fox in the fourth Kung Fu Panda? See? And that, look, bro, this is actually crazy. Like, bro, I don't even know. Karma, question. Fox, question. The fox, yes, bro. The fox was the main character in the last Kung Fu Panda. Po was not the main character. The fox was. What was her name? Nobody knows. Nah, look, Ozen. I want you to know 2x4 is literally known as our smartest person in the community. He had to have a moment to remember her. Stop making movies past the third one, gang.
Spy Kids, it would end up bringing in longtime fans of the series. Fans
I'm not gonna lie, the Charles, you're gonna have to fight for that spot. 2x4 is our residential smart person. He literally does homework in the Discord. I'm not joking. So you're gonna have to fight for that spot, gang. He does people's homework in the Discord. Stop glazing. He does people's homework in the Discord. Until I see you with a pen, paper, and calculator, he is getting the glaze, gang. What did y'all talk about? Y'all gonna have to earn that spot. I ain't gonna lie.
Not pleased with how it turned out. Your favorite franchise either dies pure or lives long enough to get insufferably self-referential. The movie was a full reboot with a completely new cast, which meant it could go wherever the studio wanted it to, but it amounted to exactly what fans
to show me something, Zell.
feared it would. A watered-down Netflix original with nothing to add. Spy Kids Armageddon didn't just struggle to say anything new. It ripped most of its pages straight out of the originals. It repeated the same tired shtick of a brother and sister who find out their parents are secretly spies. The villain is a tech mogul named Rageous.
This is horrible. He looks like an EDM DJ. Boy, he look like he could make a mean...
who uses a video game to take control of everyone's devices around the world. Characters from the game world enter the real world, and characters from the real world end up fighting in the virtual world, just like Spy Kids 3. The dialogue was flat, the visuals were flat, and it managed to shift even further away from what made the originals great. It briefly made the Netflix top 10, but didn't last long, and compared to other Netflix kids titles, the performance was underwhelming. Still though, Rodriguez has confirmed that he wants to make sequels, and maybe it will only go up from here. At this point, it seems like Spy Kids has become a shell of what it once was, but it's possible that Spy Kids was a franchise that could only work in the era it was released in. There was an animated Netflix series in 2018 that switched things up slightly and was less offensive than any of the newer movies, but it wasn't super popular. The Spy Kids movies were always far from perfect, but they were a product of their time, and the studios keep trying to recreate the same format, a format that just hasn't aged very well.
Fire! Fire, I'm not mad at that. Hey, man, if you guys enjoyed Spy Kids, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure that you like, comment twice. It helps me in the algo. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.